This is a video showing how to roast coffee beans. I have here about a cup and a half of green coffee beans. This is where they'll be getting cooked, roasted in a colander over mitt to keep my hand from getting too hot. A heat gun strapped up and hanging from the ceiling. It's on a tripod to adjust the closeness to the beans. So we just got to chuck the beans in there. Okay, now I'll turn on the temperature gauge so I got a bit of an idea. It's not very accurate, I don't think. And now we turn on the heat, which I need to take the lid off to do. Alright, so now the heat gun is on full blast, full temperature. I just got to keep the beans moving so that we get an even roast and we don't roast the top ones before the ones underneath. So you see the temperature is rising. It started off at about 30, whereas the real ambient temperature is more like 28 or 27. It's not really that accurate, but it gives me a bit of an idea. This process will continue for with the heat gun about this close, probably 6 minutes before the beans start to crack. So I'm not going to film all the way through. I'll start filming again when they're about to crack. You can see they're getting quite dark now. Still not dark like they're fully roasted, but darker. And there have been a couple of little cracks found, so they should be going off with their first crack pretty soon. Nice crack. You see a bit of chaff floating around there. These beans are actually quite clean. The first few batches of beans that I roasted, see they're cracking now. The first few batches of beans that I roasted had 10 times this much chaff floating around. It was getting everywhere. Quite a messy job. Okay, so because the cracking started to roll pretty well, when the cracking starts to roll along, crack, 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 I wound up the tripod a couple of inches to move the heat away, because once that first lot of cracking starts, you can hear it still going now, you don't need 100% of the heat to continue onwards. So you can back off the heat a little bit and they'll keep cooking. And you can see the thermometer is still going upwards, so they'll keep cooking. Ideally you want a few minutes in between when all that first cracking dies off, and then you'll start to hear it crackle again, a lot quieter than the first crackling, and that's when it's time to stop roasting and cool the beans down. I have this here for cooling the beans. You pour all the beans straight into there and start the vacuum. Actually starting to get a little bit of smoke off them now and possibly have gone into second crack. They're not getting too black yet. I might keep this roast going a little bit longer. But you can see I have a vacuum inserted into the bottom of that tin, so it will suck cool air through the beans to cool them down very quickly. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cool them now. Shut that off. Start the vacuum. I want to get that cool air going through all the beans, get them all evenly cooled down very quickly. Coffee beans hold on to heat very well, and when they're all together in a big bunch like this, they'll continue to heat up even after you turn the heat gun off, and they can overcook and you end up with burnt coffee, and that's no good. So now I can take off my mitt and I can start to feel when they're cooling down, and it's still quite hot. They're probably at around about 45-50 degrees, starting to cool very quickly. I can feel the air pulling through the beans, so that's what I want. That's hot. Whoops. Keep the beans inside there. Alright, that's how you cook coffee beans, roasting coffee. So give it a shot.